Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Slow Burn Professional Wrestling Podcast, where all professional wrestling storylines live. I am your host, Matt Brandon. Thank you for joining us again on a Slow Burn Saturday short. Today on the Slow Burn, we are going to try to do an actual short. Unlike our debut Saturday short last week, it ended up going about as long as a regular show. So today we are actually going to try to do a true short, and to do that, I have to get going. All right, but before we get into the wrestling action, I have something personal, okay? And this is what I would like to say. And I don't know, I can't remember exactly who it was that said it. It was either the poet Longfellow or the poet Thoreau. And I believe it might have been Thoreau. So correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody out there, let me know for sure. But I believe it was Thoreau that said, "Fuck thy flu." I believe that's what was said. And I can say that right now, Mr. Thoreau, you were very much true. Fuck thy flu, or in modern terms, fuck the flu. It has ravaged my house this week. My God, it's been awful. And I know, as they say every year, well, it's going around. Well, yeah, no shit. But it's totally killed us, and I had to miss a wrestling event last night because of it. So, regardless, though, we are on the mend, and we are still in the wrestling game. All right, so anyway, welcome to the Saturday Short. Welcome to the Slow Burn. I am Matt Brandon, and I want to talk about Smackdown, okay? Let's see. When I look at Smackdown, I want to do this as I put in on my first note, guys, on my outline here, and I look at it. It says, "Smackdown, come on." And I'm going to say it exactly how it's written. Come on. Like, that was not good. That was not good. I didn't enjoy the show. You guys, first off, I feel like recently I've been like an AEW apologist, where like I feel like I've been really kind of slamming AEW, and then at the same time I'm like, but it's great, and then which I do that. You know, it's fine. I like wrestling, but I'm today going to be a WWE apologist. That show last night was not very good. I didn't enjoy it. You know, I guess when you come off of a show like last week and you coming off of all of this Netflix stuff, it was bound to fall flat. Guys, every wrestling show is not good. All right. They're not all freaking rainbows and unicorns. We know that. Last night's show was not rainbows and unicorns. I would call it more of a torrential downpour, and your windows were left open overnight, and you have to set your ass in a soggy seat in the morning. That's what I'm going to say last night was. All right. Let's start off with the good stuff. Okay. The Ray opening was good. You knew that was going to happen. Ray Mysterio in his hometown of San Diego, the 619, get you all in the fields. We knew that was going to happen. I said yesterday, Cody and KO not scheduled to appear, so you knew that KO was going to make an appearance. What better time than to interrupt the hometown guy? Perfect heel heat. I thought that was great. That interaction was great. All right. I figured this was going to happen. It was kind of typical. It's one of those things, guys, with wrestling, you know, some things are going to be typical. It's going to be that normal thing. That's what makes wrestling amazing in a lot of ways. It's what you expect, and then you can also get swerved by thinking this is what's going to happen. Well, last night was typical. It fell those normal roles of kind of flat. It's just kind of flat. I didn't enjoy it. I want to say this, though. KO's heel work that he's doing, again, I mentioned this before, it is top notch. And I want to explain something to somebody. For people that are the wrestling novice, I want to explain the heel, okay? Remember, the heel doesn't think he's the heel. The heel thinks he's completely right. That's what makes these stories so well. And like, I got into a conversation the other day, somewhat of a wrestling novice, and if you're listening, I'm sorry, but you're somewhat of a wrestling novice, and they basically said, well, I don't understand. He's out there doing this, and he's going against Cody, and Cody. Yes, but KO, in his heel character, thinks he's right. He looks at everything Cody has done as being wrong. Guys, this is how the real world works too, and that's why I'm mentioning it today. This is our lesson on heel work, right? In the real world, heels think they're the good guy, all right? They always do. You look for that reason to think you're right. And right now, what KO is doing, and by the way, he added some of that arrogance humor, that arrogant, dry humor to what he was doing the other. I love the line, "I'm taping my wrist." That's KO gold, and I know it's so simple, but that's the deal with the heel, guys. Accept the heel, love the heel, because the heel loves himself. I can promise you that. But that typical the women's tag. Nope, I'm not going to talk about it. It was not good. It was not good. We'll just leave it there. I will say there's some room to go with it. I hope we're going to see something go with it. I think we're going to get more out of it with Jade and the Jade storyline. But nope, I'm done. I'm done with that. Nia, you booked Nia bad. She just come off of a very good championship run, and now her first match back, she's losing a tag match with her partner Candice. I mean, that's not good wrestling. It's not good storytelling. So I didn't enjoy it, and I'm normally all there for Naomi and Bianca. Maybe we can go somewhere. But anyway, I said I wasn't going to talk about it. But that brings me to Big Jim. Big Jim getting a very good match against Carmella. We haven't seen Jimmy Uso actually in ring solo a whole lot. The intro was great. We got a little of that. That was awesome. I'm a Jimmy guy. My wife's a Jay guy. I'm a Jimmy guy. I have always felt that Jimmy's facials were better. Matter of fact, they're almost second to none. There are only a few that are better. But I will say, Jimmy's in ring has gotten a little better. Last night, though, I lost a little bit of it last night. I just didn't think the match was clean. And normally Carmelo brings it pretty well. He's a good worker. I don't know. Sometimes dance partners don't dance well together, and that's just how it goes. But they made the most out of it. I will say this: Jimmy's pop-up power bomb, the Big Jim pop-up power bomb, that's as good a move as you will see. All right, that is freaking electric. They need to advance that. He does it better than anybody else right now. And what's great is you usually see the bigger guys being able to perform that pop up Samoan drop. I said power bomb, pop up Samoan drop. KO used the pop up power bomb, but the pop up Samoan drop. Oh my god, that's freaking awesome. That could be a finisher for Jimmy. He's that good with it. Let's keep rolling down the line. The Bloodline, they make their appearance. They jump Jimmy. LA Knight comes out. We got all of that action. I mean, we'll see what can go with that. But then we get Solo. I talked about Solo making his appearance again. It was good. I thought that having that pub, having Solo coming out, we're basically projecting him as a main eventer, even coming off of a loss. And then we get the walk. I know that storytelling. Believe me, if anybody knows that, it's me. But I just didn't think anything got from it. However, and maybe this is going to be more slow burn storytelling here. And again, if we get Rock involvement, we have other family members. Who knows? Again, Chad ain't going away, man. But I will say this: the best part of the show, besides the tribute to Bob Uecker, was the Jacob Fatu promo. I mean, I've said before, and I think I mentioned it on here. I know I've talked to people about it. Jacob Fatu gives some of the better promos that you're going to see in the business, and what he did last night was awesome. I mean, that whole idea of you're not going to disrespect me. I don't care if you cheer me. I don't care if you boo me. And then his eyes and the whole, he's like, I'm not crazy. You think I'm crazy. I'm basically a killer. That was great. That was a great move. And what I liked about it even more is he didn't say, I'm here to take over. Because I heard something today. Well, that means Jacob's going to be the new leader and he's going to be the opposition. He didn't say that. All right. You almost get the impression that there's something else going there. Maybe somebody else in the wings. And maybe that just pushes Jacob to a farther role. I mean, he's been the silent assassin for the most part. Last few weeks, they've let him talk a little more, but maybe we'll get more out of it. And the more he gets to talk, the more I'm happy. So awesome with that. I also want to say what come out of that when you had the Braun Strowman run in. Talk about a great opening feud for Jacob. I mean, it seems Jacob's been around for a while now, but he hasn't had a feud yet. I mean, as far as a one-on-one feud. So in reality, think about the fact that him going up against Braun Strowman, big strong guy, ultra baby face. I mean, that's a great spot. Now, Jacob goes over. He's got to. You can't book that any other way. But I like the start of it because it gives you some room to kind of go in some different directions. The real decision here will be what goes with Solo with that part of the story. So Jacob versus Braun Strowman, decent. I'm super looking forward to that. Tama Tonga versus LA Knight. Those two, by the way, Saturday night main event starting to shape up with a lot of matches being solidified, so to speak. And we'll talk more about that on the weekly review tomorrow on our Sunday show. But I mean, what I'm saying here with Tama Tonga and LA Knight, first, that's a good move for LA Knight. Maybe kind of get a little bit of momentum. I said the other day that he's very flat right now. He's lost a lot of his momentum. Maybe we can get something back with Tama. By the way, if you haven't seen Tama wrestle in a singles match, he's very good. He's very, very good. Some of his New Japan stuff he did with the Bullet Club is excellent as far as New Japan work. But so we're going to get those two matches, and I'm very happy about that. What else did we have going? First off, I want to say my take on that is go whatever direction you want. I'm here. I'm good. You had a bad night last night, except for Jacob. Bloodline story. I'll just kick my feet back up. I'll drink my coffee and I'll sit and watch what happens. And that's what we got to do. All right. What else did we have going? We had a decent tag match. Blah blah. More tag storylines. I'm good with it. Don't think I've been very clear about the fact that I love that SmackDown has been having some tag team revivals. That one last night was okay. Again, the Pretty Deadly. You got DIY. You're dealing with Motor City Machine Guns. Los Garza. You knew Motor City was probably going over last night. I want to say the Los Garza freaking finisher again. Damn, that's good. But they're very unpersonality to me. But they're young, and we'll see what happens. What else do we have? Tiffany versus Bayley. First off, that match was good. The match was really good. What sucked is where they put it in the show. All right, you literally had a crowd coming off of a Piper Nevin B-Fab match that was very flat. The crowd was very flat, so there was no excitement rolling into the Tiffy Bayley match. Crowd stays flat because basically they're sitting on their hands waiting for a main event of their hometown guy Rey Mysterio and KO. Maybe you open the show with the women's match. I know that's not the way to do it. Or maybe you sandwich it right in the middle of that first hour or an hour and a half, right in the middle of the show. I don't know. But where they put that on the card just wasn't good. It didn't work, and they deserved better. Bayley always deserves better. But again, there's no advancement to that. I think that was just a one-off. That match was good, and it reminded me of AEW. I mean, throw two good wrestlers in together, let them go, create a good match. Dave Meltzer's happy, and then everybody lives happily ever after. Um, that's what I got. I like advancement. Hell, that's why this show is called The Slow Burn. I'm a storyline guy. I want more. We're making motion pictures, baby, and I want more and more of that. Now, that brings me to the main event, guys. The main event, uh, 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 typical. All right, hometown guy, Cody run in. KO looks strong. Package pile driver going up. You don't get Ray on the package pile driver. He stays where he's at. Then Cody and KO do their thing. Nick Aldis comes in. We're gonna get the both belts now hanging up in the ladder match. Yeah, seen it coming. Now, I will say the one thing I didn't see coming is the signing for next week. I want to say this. I was actually, my wife said, Shawn Michaels, by the way, is going to be there. He's going to moderate the contract signing for the ladder match at Royal Rumble between Cody and KO. My wife, like, why Shawn Michaels? That doesn't make sense. And here you go to the wrestling novice or someone that might not recognize the story. It's been a very, very long time ago, but Shawn Michaels is the original king of the ladder match. And still to this day, I put it in my top 5 matches of all time. And there was once a point in time where it was my number one match. Matter of fact, it's probably been my number one match longer than most matches. Although, as you grow older, things change. But the Razor Ramon Shawn Michaels match is classic. I mean, it's totally legendary. So having HBK in the ring to moderate these two dudes, plus with HBK being who he is on that high level of respect in the game, I mean, that makes sense. So great move right there. But outside of Jacob and a couple other really small things, I didn't think the show was good. I just didn't. We'll see what happens with it. You know, it isn't like I'm going to quit watching. Let me say this, though. I gave it a D. For the last, that's the third 3-hour SmackDown. That's the first one to me that felt long. All right, I felt like that could have been a 2-hour show without problem, and everybody would have been better off for it. But again, I'm not saying anything different. I like the extra wrestling. It's just that last night wasn't for me. All right, that brings us to Collision, guys. Collision tonight. It's going to be a basic AEW card. You're going to get a Texas Death Match. First off, I'm not even going to tell you who is in it first, because anytime you get a Texas Death Match, you should freaking watch. Now I want to keep going. Anytime you get a Texas Death Match in AEW, you want to watch. there's going to be some color. It could be pretty nasty, and it's with Hangman Page, and everybody knows that he goes. And then he is going to be wrestling Christopher Daniels. And Christopher Daniels, if you don't know much about him, he's a legend on the indie scene, TNA legend, AEW. He did a lot of New Japan work, but mainly a Ring of Honor guy, right? Well, he's very respected in the wrestling world by a lot of people, and tonight will be Christopher Daniels' last match. Win or lose, he said that this is it, and you can tell. I mean, he's older, he doesn't move like he used to, but big tip of the hat. So I'm excited to get to see that, and hopefully that's going to be a quality match. The Continental title's on the line. Okada against Ishii. You're getting two New Japan stalwarts that are going to go against each other in AEW. Going to be hard hitting. They're going to chop the shit out of each other, and Okada's going to go over. There's no way he's losing to Ishii. What else do we got? Well, Undisputed Kingdom. They're taking on the worst faction in the whole entire world, Shane Taylor Promotions. I always say Bobby Lashley is my most hated wrestler. That I shouldn't say hate. God, I like all wrestlers, but I don't like Bobby Lashley, and more than that, I don't like Shane Taylor. All right, I'm sorry, he's just not my thing, and I know he's got some people really are into that with the boxing and all that. I'm not. That was the worst boxing move of all time. But I want to say, like, that match to me means nothing. You have the Undisputed Kingdom. I'm loving the fact we get Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly together. By the way, Kyle O'Reilly's now in the Undisputed Kingdom. What the fuck happened to the conglomeration? Like, really, what the hell happened to that? All of a sudden, it's just poof, gone. It's like a chicken magic, right? Mark Briscoe says, hey, we're not doing this anymore. But they didn't even mention it. So anyway, Undisputed Kingdom versus Shane Taylor Promotions. That's going to be a brutal match. It'll probably go like 25 minutes, and that'll be a good time for me to go get something to drink. The main event, it's typical AEW, rated FTR, Edge, Cope, I should say, and Dax and Cash. They are tagging up with the Outrunners and Powerhouse Hobbs to take on the Death Riders and the Learning Tree. All right. Yes, that is right. You heard that correctly. A 12-man tag match. All right. Edge, Dax, Cash, Turbo Floyd, Truth Magnum, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Moxley, Claudio, Wheeler Yuta, Chris Jericho, Brian Keith, and Big Bill. Well, you knew they were going to do it. So there you go. We shall see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a match. Jericho's in it. We'll watch. You know what? I hope that tomorrow when I come on, I say, man, that was a good match. That was a hell of a match. And I'll eat crow and I'll say, hey, my bad. I was wrong. All right. Now, what else do we have going on in the world of wrestling, guys? Genesis, TNA Genesis, tomorrow night. Believe the pre-show starts at 7. My guys from Busted Open, the second best wrestling podcast in the world, they'll be doing the pre-show. Going to be a great night. Main event, Joe Hendry versus Nick Nemeth. It's going to be as good as I keep saying it's going to be. All right, great card. Also, we'll do our weekend review tomorrow, so keep in mind, keep in tune for that. And I'm going to introduce another special segment tomorrow. You know, we've done our PWI randoms. We've done a couple Mount Rushmores. I got something else special coming up tomorrow, and we'll go from there. Big, huge week in professional wrestling. One last thing I want to say, Phoenix Wrestling Experience, Augusta, Georgia. I hate that I missed you guys last night. I will be out soon. And we got a lot of other good stuff coming, guys. Wrestling is still amazing, and we are all here for it. Guys, keep in mind, it's a hell of a world out there. We're wrestling everything. Stay on top. This has been the Slow Burn.